Well, hey kids, welcome back to Smith Motor Works. Good to have you here. Took a little road trip up north. We're in central Indiana, and so Detroit's not a huge time travel to get up that way. And when I was up there, I stopped by a place that is very significant in the world of IndyCar racing, at least in the history. It's the headquarters for the famous Novi engine. So what's that other than an engine named after the town? Uh, it's a specialized race engine. I'm going to oversimplify it. It's kind of like a V8 version of an Offenhauser. If you haven't heard of those, yeah, definitely check those out. They dominated for many, many years. The engine was a huge fan favorite. Centrifugal supercharger. I think that supercharger spun at like 11 grand or something like that. So it's screaming thundering V8 in a field of cars that were mostly four cylinders, which were super high performance four cylinders, but definitely something different on the track. Enormous amounts of power for the 1940s, like 500 horsepower. That's insane for back then on a oval track car, open wheel car. Front wheel drive too, and definitely could not put that power to the ground. Ended up killing a couple drivers, but the fans loved it. They thought it was neat. It would get the poles many times. It would always in hard luck. I mean, like I said, very dangerous to handle. There's not many drivers that were able to master it. Had a lot of quirks, but tire technology, suspension design, things like that. I mean, it's kind of too much too soon. But enough of that. Let's head on up north and check this place out. It's something pretty neat. Well, kind of in the neighborhood. Not the greatest weather, but thought I would come and check out a monument to an engine named for a town, the Novi. I think it's been called the most popular engine that never really did anything, but boy, definitely a fan favorite. Before my time for sure, but pretty cool. I think this is actually the grounds of the headquarters, even though it was built on the West Coast. But building's knocked down, of course, but they got like a karting track or something here, RC car track, I think is what it is. But water tower from the plant still stands. Pretty cool. I mean, you can see it from the main road, which is Novi Road out there, but pretty awesome. Can zoom in, see a little better. I don't know if that was a four-wheel drive car or not. I think they did about everything they could to get the power to the ground there. I believe it started out as front-wheel drive, and they, I don't know if they went to rear-wheel drive or straight to all-wheel drive, but yeah, it was pretty wicked. I think there's killed a couple people actually, but definitely, like I said, fan favorite. Pretty cool. Glad it's still here. Well, hey, I hope you liked that one. It's kind of short and sweet. Like I say, not a whole lot there anymore, unfortunately, but at least they kept the water tower, and they are trying to pay homage to it, and sort of got a little bit of motorsports there too with the RC track. So yeah, people get into that, maybe learn a little bit of the history. There's definitely engines out there. I've seen them and not even thought about it when I was younger. I'm almost certain IMS has several examples of that. I know they do. Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, and I would suspect that they're peppered out throughout the country because they're no reason to throw them away. They're just too crazy. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's kind of the spiritual father of the four-cam Ford that dominated Indy later on. probably a lot of people disagree with that. I don't mean that they use parts from one to build the other. I mean just the idea of a double overhead cam V8, which won Indy after that for many, many years, until we get to the formula that we have now. But, definitely still kind of the sort of hot engine, in cars and other forms of racing. Again, definitely debatable, but the Novi was significant for sure. I think 21 years they were in that thing out there. Eventually, Granatelli got involved and tried to do all-wheel drive to put that power to the ground, with also limited success. So interesting story, way more than I'm capable of going into, but I do like to learn. And if you are the same way, I can recommend a couple books, and there's a lot more. This is mentioned in here. As I said, these guys, pretty much made that thing happen. Another one, which is maybe a little bit harder to find, this right here, this is kind of the guy, Duke Nalon. If you haven't heard of him, pretty amazing driver. He is known as the guy that tamed the Novi. He's the only one that really kind of did anything with it, I would say. A lot of guys tried, and it's not slighting especially the guys that got killed in them. Very capable drivers, but he put this thing on the pole. He was running hard with it, and it just got to the point to where it just wasn't going to work, and he was nearing retirement. But good story about this guy here, and the Novi and his history are kind of intertwined. And there's a specific book about the engine itself that's co-written by the guy that wrote this here. So I need to pick that one up because I want to learn more about it too. There's also a book that's, I don't own it yet, but I want to get it, about the Novi race cars. And I think it's more kind of a picture book than a full-on history like the one I just mentioned, from the Dalon history author. So anyway, that's 4 right there, so you can find out a little bit about this thing. It's pretty interesting. It's now you'd say, oh, double overhead cam V8, so what? But just think about 1940s. They're making this thing work, and even now, for hot rods, I guess there's guys with 1,000+ street cars running around, but 500 horsepower is nothing to sneeze at, and in the 40s. That's just amazing. So quite an accomplishment. Anyway, if you like that kind of history and you're in the neighborhood, go up to Novi and check it out. It's something to see, take pictures of like I did, maybe get a little bit better day for the weather. But regardless, dare to be different in whatever you do. Do that homework, like, subscribe, share. We appreciate all that. And we'll see you next time on Smith Motor Works. Thanks, everybody.